All right, today is the F350. It's a 2008 Super Crew, Super Duty. I'm gonna show you what I got here. I got a problem. My battery terminal connector, whatever you want to call it, only has that little bitty strip left holding it onto the post. And it's pretty corroded. So we need to fix this. First off, I need to get the corrosion off. Baking soda. Put it where there's corrosion. Some of the corrosion had been knocked onto here when it was cleaned off previously, so put some over there. Put some down in the cracks where it may have fallen. You can't put too much baking soda in here because you're gonna rinse it right out. So all that corrosion, all that acid went into my battery box. So now I've got the water hose up here flushing out my battery box because I don't want all that corrosion sitting in there. So you can see right there, that's exactly what it's doing. So make sure that does not happen. All right, that doesn't look too bad, but I'm going to show you something here. See how this post is all the way at the top of the connector? Let me show you something. You see all that post up underneath there? Right there? All that post. This connector should be slid down to bottom out. The post is wider at the bottom than at the top. If you're at the top, you may or may not have a good grip. This type of connector is a little better than the big lead ones. So slide your connectors all the way down. Slide your battery connectors all the way down. All right, to avoid any issues while messing with the battery, we're gonna undo the negative cable here so that we can mess with the positive cable without having to worry about making unintentional connections. Oh, by the way, 8mm, breaking it. All right, we got that off. Now, the goal here is to make this fix. I'm going to undo this cable right here. Try to get this off of this. So, to fix this battery terminal problem, I've ordered a Dorman. It's not exactly the same, but I couldn't find exactly the same. And this cable from Ford was quoted to me for $400 because it's a special order. It's not even 1.5 meters long. And the connector's probably $35. And the other one's just a pad eye. And they want to charge me $400. They're out of their mind. So I've ordered this. So let's mount it on here and kind of see what it'll look like. So the problem that we're going to have is this is for the main battery connector. So this cable would come over and sit inside of this. This would still mount up here, which wouldn't be a problem. And then we'd have a spare connection here. So we have a couple options. One, I can cut this off crimp me a pad eye on here, mount the pad eye here, and just cut this section right here completely off. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about cutting this right here. Just cut it off and then smooth down the edges. This cable would hook here. This cable would hook here. And we'd make our connections to the battery like needed, as needed. So the question is what to do. So let's look and see. All right, so for right now, I'm gonna use it as it's designed. All right, I've got the connector off. I've got some wire exposed here, some conductors exposed. I pulled this away from the vehicle to cut that off. And believe it or not, I used an angle grinder right there. Angle grinder. Cut that right off. Could not release the connector, so I cut it off. All right, I've positioned this piece at the angle I think will work, and I'm going to connect it to the conductor. All right, I've put the cable on, but you want to hold that as close to the position that it's going to rest in while it's attached as possible when you're tightening down these screws. So you don't want to put it together up here and then have to twist this wire all that much. So try to get it as close to its resting position as possible when you would tighten down these bolts. Again, I'll cut this off. All right, I got that one on there. Right now, this boot right here doesn't do a whole lot of good, so I sit it up there, but we'll retain that for when we attach it here. Then it should cover the whole battery terminal. Then we're going to put the ground back on, and again, we're going to get it all the way to the bottom, just like we did there. See, there's no gap. All right, so we're going to put this on, put it down to the bottom. Take it. I just happen to have a hammer here. Tap this down a little at a time until it gets down there at the bottom. You can use a heavy wrench or something else to do this. I just happen to have a hammer. Then we'll tighten this up. All right, so there we go. Connected. You can see I've got clearance. The one thing you can note, or that you should note here, is how this bend here is kind of outstretched. It's not supposed to be reaching over this. It's supposed to have more room in there to make this turn. It doesn't because of the connector I'm using. Again, this is not supposed to fit this vehicle, so when you go to buy it, it warns you it does not fit this vehicle. Well, here's Dorman's number, if you want to call him. Got any questions, complaints? Call him. I could have got a different connector, but I really kind of wanted to stick with this type. It's on the rest of the connectors. Over here on the passenger side, we have something a little dissimilar. The crimp is built in on this one just like it was on the other one, but it's built in here. This has a post, this has a post, and this has a post. So there's 3 posts on this connector with a crimp connection for the main battery cable. So I may have to call Dorman and see if I can get one of these just in case something happens to this one, just to have it in reserve. All right, anyway, so what we're going to do today, we're going to do that today, and then when I reconfigure this, I'll keep you posted. All right, so far that's the way I've done it. Right now, I'll do it. All right, I've got that cut, smoothed out. Frank did it. Cut that, or took that loose from the connector. Put the end on it, put some heat shrink on it to make it look good. And close the gap between the connector and the insulation. And we'll put it on, see how it works.
There's just nothing left really to clean.
All right, I used some gel on my post, put the connector on. I'm gonna put some more around here and here, and then put the cables on. All right, so there it is. Greased up and connected, modified.
Custom.
All right, yeah, custom. That's right, Frank says custom. All right, that's the way we did it. Like and subscribe, it's free.